So before we get into today's video, I actually have some pretty crazy breaking news. Yesterday, I put out a tweet urging Major League Baseball to please disable the auto renew feature on MLB TV because they wanted to charge people for the entirety of 2022, even though a CBA is not in place. They listened. I want to give them a round of applause. And if you think that this community has no say on Major League Baseball, yeah, you guys are sorely underrating yourselves. Today is the day. Robert Manfred, the owners, and Major League Baseball a few weeks ago said that, hey, if we do not get a deal done by February 28th, today, Major League Baseball will be canceling opening day, and the first week, maybe even 2 weeks of the season will be officially lost forever, and the players will not be recouping any of the money that they lost during this time of cancellation. And I'm hoping that a deal gets done. I'm hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic. And yesterday I said that baseball would be gone forever. That was just a Kent Murphy joke. If baseball does not get agreed upon today, they're still going to have some time to work a deal out. And again, if baseball does in fact get canceled for 2022, I understand that you guys are going to be upset. I was just trying to infer that there are bigger things happening in the world, but I still understand the severity of the situation, that we all want baseball. I mean, considering my job is on the line, of course I want baseball back, but I just wanted to go ahead and make sure that you guys understand that I would be very upset if baseball does not happen this year, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. But anyways, if this is your first time on the channel, my name's Fuzzy. We do this every single day, so don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. We're going to talk about Derek Jeter and the Marlins officially mutually agreeing to part ways. Maybe this was a Derek Jeter thing. Maybe this was a Miami Marlins thing and they were not fulfilling their promise that they made to Derek Jeter. So we're going to break that down in just a second. First and foremost, let's talk about the lockout, because the owners and the players, thank you, baseball lords, they are back at it yet again. So hopefully by the end of today, there will be a deal done, but we are still miles apart on things like minimum salaries, Super 2 status, that is like arbitration eligibility, pre-arbitration bonus pools, the CBT, also known as the luxury tax, revenue sharing, and how many teams will be making the postseason and how that works. Let's say it's a divisional team or a wild card team. How many wins do they have to get? Blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of gray area surrounding the proposal and if it's going to get done. So please cross your fingers. And yeah, let's just go ahead and move on to Derek Jeter and the Marlins mutually parting ways after a couple seasons where Derek Jeter owned 4% of the Marlins and he officially became their CEO. And again, like I said, this was on ESPN. Stephen A. Smith and all of ESPN was talking about it today. They also talked about the lockout, which is pretty crazy. Maybe baseball is getting some new eyes. That would be fine. But Jeter, as the CEO of the Marlins, his tenure started off rough. And I'm going to emphasize rough because he was known for trading Christian Yelich for a bag of peanuts and maybe a side of belly button lint. And he didn't really get much in the trades for Giancarlo Stanton or JT Realmuto. Now, he did get a few pieces in the Marcell Ozuna trade. I do want to give him credit for that. He got Zach Gallen. He flipped Zach Gallen for Jazz Chisholm, who is a star in the making. And they got Sandy Alcantara, who is a beast. So the Ozuna trade actually wasn't too bad. But if we look at the Christian Yelich trade, the centerpiece of that was Lewis Brinson. He was DFA'd. He's no longer with the Marlins. And kind of the second centerpiece of the JT Realmuto trade was a young catcher, Jorge Alfaro. Just like Lewis Brinson, he was DFA'd. Both of them are no longer on the Miami Marlins. Now, I will say they got Sixto Sanchez in that JT Realmuto deal. They got Sandy Alcantara and they used Zach Gallen to flip for Jazz Chisholm. So it wasn't absolutely horrific, and Derek Jeter did do a pretty good job of hiring Kim Ng, and they kind of bounced back going into the 2022 season. I was excited to see what they could do if they would spend a little bit of money. They traded for Joey Wendell, they traded for Jesus Luzardo and Brian De La Cruz, Jesus Sanchez, Jazz Chisholm. All three of those young guys, in my opinion, are going to be pretty good, and that rotation with Trevor Rogers, Sixto Sanchez is coming up, Max Meyer, Sandy Alcantara. Again, they have a plethora of young pieces that are team controlled for a while. But the reason why Derek Jeter is leaving is because what he signed up for is no longer happening, and we can only infer that the Marlins have pretty much said, hey, we are going to build through the draft, we're going to build through trades, we are not going to be spending money. That is my assumption. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below if you can read through the lines and understand what Derek Jeter was trying to say. But Jeter, he was also known for firing mascots and tearing down the home run statue over in center field, as highlighted by Baseball Doesn't Exist. I literally watched that video a couple days ago, and then this happens. So Baseball Doesn't Exist with one of the better predictions that I've seen. I don't know if it was a prediction, but just irony at its finest. But again, I do want to give some credit to Derek Jeter. He hired Kim Ng as GM, and they built a very solid core going into 2022.
You know, people always say, look, it was such a historic hire. So I didn't hire her to be historic. You know, I hired her because she was the best person for the job. Everyone always says, oh, well, like she was overqualified for the position. Well, how come someone didn't hire her? You know, so this wasn't the first time.
And it just really sucks that we can't see his perception of the future successes of the Marlins come to fruition. Derek Jeter is still the most popular player in baseball in America. If you walk into any Walmart or CVS and you say, can you name 5 baseball players? I guarantee you the majority of people are going to name Derek Jeter before Mike Trout. That is just my opinion. Now, before we talk about Mitch Garver and Francisco Lindor standing up for Derek Jeter, which leads me to believe that Jeter is standing up for the competitive integrity of the game. That's why he's stepping away, because the Marlins, it seems like they're prioritizing profits over postseason success. This is the same guy that said this in his playing career about winning games.
I mean, how do you rate losing? You know,
It's all misery to you.
Yeah, I've never understood it. You know, well, it feels better because we made it to the World Series and lost. Why does it feel better? I've never understood that. I really don't get that one.
Derek Jeter is one of the most winningest players of any sport to ever live. He's one of the most significant athletes and leaders in professional sports, and I really can't understand why the Marlins would not want to get behind him, and they cheaped out on his plan. But you can see that players have his back. Mitch Garver put out a tweet that it pretty much, in summation, it showcased that the sport as a whole, the owners value profits over playoff success, or really just team success. Jason Castro put out a tweet with hashtag competitive integrity. And as I'm recording, Miguel Rojas, he thanked Derek Jeter and he ended it with, that's what leaders do, inferring that Derek Jeter did his job. And Francisco Lindor added to it with a post of his own. So I know I've said this a couple times throughout today's video. What do you make of Derek Jeter and the Marlins mutually agreeing to part ways? The owner says that they're going to continue to get better and better and win, but Derek Jeter says that what he signed up for is no longer happening. Then I can only infer that means they're going to be trading their young star players, or they're not committed to spending money and actually building on the promise that they gave to Derek Jeter. And that really does it for today's video. We are kind of just sitting around and waiting for the owners and the players to strike a deal. Hopefully a second video will be out later today with the title that is simple: Baseball is back. I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys with this picture right here. A lucky person out there pulled the 1/1 Platinum Wander Franco. This has to be $100,000 right out the gate. It could be a $500,000 card if it grades pretty well. So if you guys open up packs and you pull a Wander Franco, post it to Twitter, see if it's a good card if you're unfamiliar or ignorant to the baseball card hobby, and you might have a little gold mine on your hands. But thank you guys for watching. Stay safe out there, and hopefully I'll catch you all later for a second upload where baseball is back.